Welcome back to Mahs Garage. I'm Crick,
I'm Smokey.
And I'm Kev.
and on this episode, we'll be talking about the cost of convenience.
For instance, what are some of the trade-offs that we've agreed to as a society that would make us shudder today, or things that were too blown out of proportion?
And are the trade-offs of the cost of convenience going to continue to grow, or is it already too many to count?
Or when does convenience become a hindrance? Let's explore these questions and more. So grab a log and join us by the fire.
No thanks. Actually, can I go ahead and get double cheeseburger meal with onion rings and a Coke to drink, please?
This is Mahs Garage.
Oh, no problem. I'll just take a Pepsi then.
Is this guy serious?
Hello?
What I mean,
Is there a problem?
Dude,
So,
you don't have
so I've got a double cheeseburger meal with onion rings instead of fries and Pepsi for the drink.
Is he Kev? Why are you taking this guy's order? This is
you're
not
only
the
encouraging
drive-through.
him.
Oh, it's Wednesday. I'm not at the lounge. I'm at the podcast.
Oh, my mistake. I'm at the wrong place.
How do you guys utilize technology today to make your lives more convenient? What are some examples?
How don't I?
Literally.
I've got my, got my
Literally.
calendar. I've got
Literally.
my tutor for anything I want to learn.
Even my like digital media, like music, like someone just told me about this about classic music. Like you could hear your favorite song maybe twice or three times in your entire life, like because you had to go find that person playing it live back before it was recorded music. But now I can listen to it 6 times a day. If it's stuck in my head, I can just play it on repeat, like
6 times.
right. I meant an hour.
I mean, sometimes, but I honestly, I have to, like, since we're talking about like classical music, I really enjoy like listening to like original vinyl, like listening to the records. And then it goes against convenience because, like you said, you can just download it digitally and then bam, you've got that right there at your fingertips. But going through the process of like opening up the vinyl, like taking the record out, turning on the record player, like putting the record down, adjusting it correctly, however you have to, like, and then just hearing that natural sound. Like you can, it has a different feeling to it.
There's something to the method. Like people say the same thing about smoking cannabis. Like everybody that comes to the dispensary says the same thing. It's not about just smoking weed. It's the rolling of the joint, the gathering of the group, the session, the circle. It's the grinding of it's like this whole kind of orchestra that we put behind it. Yeah,
right.
like
Yeah,
exactly. And so it's I get that. It's the same thing with the records where it's just there's a little bit to playing it out a little bit more so you appreciate the experience that you're about to take on instead of just
feel like
quick ripping it.
do you feel like the convenience has kind of killed it a little bit each time? Like you said, the classical music, you'd maybe hear your favorite song 1 or 2 times, and then vinyl came out. You could hear it, as long as you played with the vinyl, and then cassette tape came out, and then so on and so on. And now it's just, you'd hear it every once in a while on the radio, and then you could hear it on your cassette tape, or then you had your CD, so you didn't even have to rewind. Now you got your MP3. All you do is click the back button to restart it, or just put it on repeat.
It unhumbles you. That's where I burn through songs, where I've listened to a song a bunch of times until I don't even want to ever hear that song again for months down the road.
It does. And then that's when you're just like doing stuff and you're just like, I want to listen to this specific song right now. As opposed to I want to listen to this genre right now. Like I gotta hear this specific song as opposed to hearing like a generality of like this type of music. And it could be a different artist that could give you a different song with a different message that actually hits you harder or hits you more heavy than the initial song that you wanted to listen to.
Right.
But you don't know because you just go right to that one song. It's like people that like legitimately make like a workout playlist Like I'd rather just like listen to like heavy metal music as like my workout music, but to each their own. Some people, they want to listen to specific songs because of the specific lyrics. And especially in working out, you want like those specific lyrics that are going to push you, that are going to motivate you.
So yeah, that I was huge with that back in the day. I made a lot of playlists, and now I feel like I don't make any. And it's a hindrance because I spend more time looking for the song that I'm trying to listen to,
or skipping through the ones on a playlist that you're in.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. That's where I'm now somebody who really makes like specialized playlists, because it's like, and it's not even always the lyrics; it's the different like tones of the music, the different sounds and vibrations that it makes in my brain, and like they make me feel a certain way. So if I can categorize that and put me on that, I can play a playlist that I've set to re-put my mind into the place that it was when I made that playlist. You know what I mean? So I can use that to better like program myself.
That makes sense, because you can control what you're intaking and the way you intake it and how the flow flows together that way.
Right. I know what that music does to me. I'm aware of what that music makes me feel when I'm listening to it, or what mood I am in when I'm listening to it, what level
I feel like,
and that's the specific reason that you put that music there in the first place. Like you want to listen to this specific. So it really depends on the mindset that you're looking to achieve.
And you couldn't do that 10 years ago, 20 years ago. You had to switch CDs.
Dude, think about way back.
I feel like I was really good with that with
did you guys have
burning
any
CDs,
Walkmans
though,
growing
like
up?
playlists on CDs.
Oh yeah. I forgot about burning CDs.
I used to burn the crap out of CDs. I'd make playlists all the time, dude. That was my thing. And now I feel like I've shifted more to, I'm listening to a lot of other things, so they just end up in my like playlists.
Mm-hmm.
And now I'm trying to get back into my playlist making, but I was dead set in my ways of what I like to listen to. And then once I started venturing out a little bit more, I realized like, other people do, they feel the same way about their playlists that you do about yours. Some people put the time and energy into it.
And you would see that like sometimes at like parties and stuff, that like you're playing like a playlist for the party, but then like your friend comes over and is like, hey, do you mind if I put my music on? It's like, I put the time and effort into establishing this, but I don't want to offend my guest. So sure, absolutely, you can connect at this, whatever. And then you don't get it back the rest of the night. It goes from them to another friend to another friend to another. They just control.
Well, it can, because they can throw it off too. Like you had a pattern, you had a rhythm to your music, and then they throw something completely abrasive that completely changes the room, because that music affects the party. And you
absolutely.
If you've ever DJ'd for any party, even like at a party, like college party, house party, whatever, you notice that when you set certain music, people react. So if someone comes there and switches all up because they want to put their favorite earbud that's stuck in their head right now on.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just going to change the whole thing. And it's just like, and that's what you got to be aware about yourself. It's like, is this good for the mood of the room right now? Or is this just,
and that's where I like essentially where I'm at now, I vet it out, and it's like, okay, well, what do you want to play? Okay. Well, like, if I don't know what that is, like, what is that? Like, I want to know, I want to look around. I want to gauge the room to see if it would help or hurt the flow. If it is something that they want to listen to, that's going to hurt the flow. It's like, I don't know about right now. Maybe in like half an hour. Not right now. Like
when things calm down.
Right now we got a flow, but like you can play your music in like half an hour or so.
Come back in a half an hour when you forget about it.
Yeah. Right. And then like a handful of times, like I just let my buddy that like works as like an audio engineer essentially. And he just kind of handles the music. Like he brings the audio because he has like these awesome products that he's showing us and stuff. And then like it just has really, really, really nice quality. And then he's really good at like gauging like what music is needed for the room. Like he was handling the music for my birthday party, and everyone seemed to really like it.
Yeah. And we wouldn't have you like, that's a new ability. Like that's something like,
I know, dude.
So fast. Like
think about like Bluetooth portable speakers, and think about even just like 5 years ago, like they were not nearly as easy or as available.
A DJ wasn't even a job.
Go 10 years ago.
You couldn't even be a DJ like what
you did that on the
20
on the
years
weekends,
ago, 30 years ago.
Yeah, like 20. Well, actually, no. I think
about 30 years ago,
DJs started around like the hip hop.
Yeah, they went hand in hand, right?
So that's what I want to say is like maybe even further though, because I guess you're still a disc jockey if you're like switching out the record at a disco party. You know what I mean? It's still a DJ.
Yeah.
But still, I don't know.
I mean,
think what you're
it
saying
has
is
like
the
that is
opportunities
one
to be a
one
DJ
position that's
have
evolved a
grown.
lot over time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now you're
And maybe
making the
it's
music right there live as a DJ. Like
Maybe it's is the price of software going down, so it's more easily accessible for people.
you can get a beat maker on your phone for $10.
Yeah, you
know
can.
what
Yeah.
I mean? Like you can get and
But
for
then-
free.
You can
You-
make
but then
music
you-
on your phone.
You do talk
Yeah.
to
The
some
whole
like
songs,
people that
albums,
legitimately have been
movies.
DJing for a very long time. They do have like kind of like your friend, like they had like their own like audio equipment.
Right. That's a huge convenience right there is the phone. I mean, it's not just it's an audio recorder, video recorder, calculator,
These
search Google, search this, call people. Like in one thing, in one device on your
things are
freaking
mini
lap.
computers,
Yeah. And it's like
and
Oh,
I
then
use
they
that
just
more than my computer.
they happen to have the ability to make calls.
I dread using
Right.
my computer. At least I can
Same.
be mobile with my phone.
same,
Yeah,
I'm
dude.
tablet or fucking phone.
Yep.
You remember back in the day, our first cell phones that
Yep. I played Centipede on it. That's all I could do. And then
Oh,
I could
yeah,
make phones
Worm.
and text. Yeah, dude. Like that was it. And I was happy. I was so happy to have
it
that.
was
as a
Worm and
phone.
Pinball, I think were my
Yeah,
two games
yep,
that I had on
pinball.
mine.
The old track phone too. Like it didn't even have a plan. It was
yeah.
literally just like, here's minutes in case of an emergency.
Literally.
I remember when I had to buy an internet plan for my phone. Like I remember that first switch.
Oh yeah, the
like,
data plan.
Like,
And you're just like, dude, now I gotta now I gotta spend an extra 30 a month for this stupid data plan.
yeah, and now you cannot like not.
Now you don't even have a choice.
Yeah,
Could
But
you
then
imagine
again,
not having
You
data?
don't. Oh, I can't.
I would kind of
I can't.
if I could listen to music, go on GPS, and make calls and texts. That's all I need. Get rid of the rest of the shit on my phone. I'm fine going to a computer for all that. But like,
I'm all right going to a computer for that as well. But the thing is, you can't use GPS in real time. Like you would have to have the computer with you and like connected.
I
And
know.
if it's not wireless, then there's
The
data
phone doesn't-
involved.
Phone doesn't go off of wireless for GPS though, right? That's the antenna that it uses.
Should
But
use
it's
a
still,
satellite
but it still
Yeah.
uses like GP, like anything that's not like. Well, I'm trying to think like
It's
how you would put
the music you can
'Cause
free-download too. You don't need to have
You-
a service.
that is
Yeah.
true. And then I feel like you should be able to like play music that you download, but a lot of people just have these apps that hold their music.
because it's more.
That's what a lot of
convenient.
people do
Because
with the
it's
maps
way
too.
more
I see what you're
convenient.
saying. is
Exactly.
To load up like the geography, people download the maps. That's what they do.
Right.
You download
Yeah.
the maps, but you can still get your GPS location as long as you overlay it on like an actual map.
Mhm.
I remember that as a kid. It went from we always had an atlas in the car to figure out wherever we were going, and then MapQuest, where every time you were going somewhere, you'd print off those 2 pages of directions.
Dude,
and then
even back when I used to work as
Like
state.
what?
I'm
What is
sorry,
the glove
I'm gonna
box
let, I'm
even
gonna let you
used for
finish.
anymore?
what was that?
What's the glove box even used for anymore?
They don't put gloves in it either. Who puts?
You
guys
I've
know?
never seen gloves in any of my friends' glove boxes.
No.
No,
You
I
guys
guess
don't-
I've noticed.
I put gloves in my glove box.
Oh, there's like napkins, a pipe.
I mean, I do have that stuff as
Insurance.
well,
I
but
do have some
like I
napkins,
do have.
insurance.
I mean, I legitimately do have like a pair of gloves in my glove box because,
Kudos
and
to
especially
you.
for like working
And
on
it's
your
actually a glove box. Mine's not even a
well,
glove
think
box.
think about like you're broken down on the side of the road and you need to put on some gloves so you can work on your car.
Well, that's in my toolbox.
No.
But
Which
I
is
have
the
like
back
a-
of your car.
yeah,
I don't
yeah.
have any gloves.
I have
I mean,
like
initially
Guyver
the
kits, you know
glove,
that.
the glove box was made so that you could put your driving gloves in it, and that's why it's
Mhm.
convenient that you can like reach and grab it.
What
But
do you need to lock that for?
everyone has
driving gloves used to be leather. Those are expensive.
yeah,
It's like 40, 50 bucks
back
pair
in
of
the day.
gloves. Well,
And nowadays, like some cars come with a locked glove box and some don't. Like I think my Equinox didn't have it. My Josh's Jetta has it. My Subaru, I believe, does not have it. I believe my Impalas did not have it. And I believe I think trying to remember, I think my buddy's Ford actually has it. So it's like there's no
Hit or miss.
You don't
You
know
pay for
like
it.
what's gonna guaranteed have it or not because it's so many
Probably
people
one of those
just don't
extra
care.
features.
But one
Yeah,
thing I
because
willing
a
to
lock's a
pay
lock.
for it.
Like a lock is great for if someone's in a glance trying to take something, a lock's going to keep them out. But if
Right.
someone really wants in there, a lock's not keeping them out. You know
Oh,
what I mean?
absolutely.
I guess at least with the glove box, it does make it more concealed. So like if you have a tablet or something, you can put it in there, be more of a deterrent for somebody to bust out the window. And if they have
True.
busted out the window, they'll probably be less likely to want to rip out the glove box because
That's true.
they're already
Made
on
a lot
the
of
edge.
noise.
Yeah.
There are some
Depends where your car's
there are
at,
some
but yeah,
vehicles
that's
that you can
true.
also lock your center console too.
That's how mine is. I can do both, but mine's also
Oh,
a
that's
Jeep.
nice.
So if it's like if I have my top down,
Yeah.
those aren't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You need to
Like even Jeeps too. I shouldn't say this, but like even if you have your top up, it's zipper windows and zip all the way around it. Like
I mean,
How secure are you really?
yeah, it's just like locks too. A lot of that is just like if people really want in, they're gonna find a way in. You know what I mean? So it's like I don't know. I should be more. I should care more. I really should.
we should,
But-
but that's why we carry insurance because if something happens, we've got protection.
And if you need it that bad, man, like
You
know,
went- hey,
apparently you need it that
like,
bad.
If I see someone like legitimately trying to steal my catalytic converter, I'm going to call the police.
That's different. That's busting up your car. Like
But I'm
if you
still
just
gonna
leave the
respect-
car
I'm-
unlocked.
But I'm still going to respect your grit that like you tried, but like you got to do it better next time because I caught you.
I guess.
Not saying that if I see them, not saying that if I see them
Good
stealing
job,
someone
man.
else's catalytic converter that I wouldn't call. Like if I see someone trying to steal a catalytic converter, I'm gonna call. But at the
Right.
same
Yeah.
time, now that and apparently you can get like upwards of like $500 and $800 for those catalytic converters now.
There's
Like
gold in
it's
them.
Yeah.
yeah,
Well, now
it's
there's-
more
there's
than just the
palladium
platinum
on it.
ring.
There's-
Yeah,
What is it?
There's rhodium.
Rhodium?
in it.
Okay.
That's like
Isn't
$20,000 for an ounce.
that's
Jesus.
Something
wild.
like that.
It's wild.
Stupid expensive.
And think about how many cars are on the side of the road or that are on the road at all times that have these catalytic
Yeah.
converters.
But that's just like I don't know. Find a different means. I know
get it.
that's
Hey.
more convenient than working, but the amount of effort that you have to put into popping off a catalytic converter and earning all that, like
And
you
not
could
getting
put
caught.
that energy.
And
Right, you
not
can put
getting
that
It's
in
caught.
there.
something
show you
so much
something.
more productive. You're obviously
Yeah,
good
they
with
don't need to worry
tools.
about getting caught, and then you take that out of the equation, unless that's your only incentive. Is like you like the thrill.
Like
Obviously,
if
you
you
like
can steal a
hands-on-
catalytic, if you can
hands-on
steal a
work.
catalytic converter,
Thrill.
why don't you just work for a mechanic shop?
Right? Fix them instead of
Yeah,
breaking
learn
them.
how to fix
Yeah.
them instead of stealing from them, and then you get like parts that people don't want.
That, or if you really want to cut stuff that bad, go do like underwater blowtorch cutting or something.
Right.
If you need the
Now
thrill
that
with it.
is something
right?
from left field, but hey, I
No,
mean,
yeah,
that
whatever.
is a need, and that is one
There are way cooler things you
positive
could
way
be doing with your time.
to entertain
I
that.
know it's not
Direct
as
that energy.
convenient, but
Yeah. Down the road, it is because it's not going to be convenient when you're in jail. When
yeah.
you're stuck in prison. You know what I mean?
It
Then
all-
you
it all
can't do
goes
any
to-
job. Yeah.
Yeah, no
It's like
kidding.
those art maps, right? Here's the one if you go to this school and do your welding. Here's the one if you do the life of crime.
Yep, yep.
Basically. But look at how many high points there were.
yeah.
All right, this is getting a little.
Roller
That's right.
coaster riding.
That's where the situation comes in that for that a little bit though, because I think for some people in certain situations it's more convenient to go to school, and some people in certain situations it's more convenient to do crime. They
Yeah.
don't have access to the other.
It's about the means that, or they don't know how to access those things.
True.
Or they've,
yeah, they
or
haven't been
they've,
given the
been,
tools.
or they've
Yeah.
been taught the opposite of doing those things.
There's no way you could do that. There's no way. You're not smart
Exactly.
enough to go to school.
They've always been.
You're gonna
they've
just
always
screw it
just been
up.
taught
Yeah.
down
It's
to.
gonna go to shit.
So that's
Yep.
and then in their adult life, they're just like, well, I guess I'm just a piece of shit.
That's what kind of pissed me off about felons, because it's like in our society, if you get a felony, if you fuck up one time, you're stamped for the rest of your
Done.
life.
yeah.
You can't get a
Like,
normal
that-
job
that
anywhere.
stuff does not leave
And your only
you.
option is to commit crime, because it's not your only option. There's other options out there, but your easier option is to commit crime because it's the more feasible way to make money than making $8 an hour at McDonald's. I don't even know if
Which is
McDonald's will hire
15
you.
an hour now.
Dang, really? Everywhere?
Yeah.
National.
Wow.
When the national minimum wage raises, that's the entire nation.
I didn't even know that it all went up to 15. Yeah, dang, I'm behind. Do you remember when it was 6.45 for us?
I got started, it was 6.25. I never thought I'd say that about people.
Dude,
People
that
used to tell us that it was 50 cents.
Right.
When you guys started, it was 6.
Yeah.
When I started, it was 5.91.
Jeez, oh, peace.
Dude, and that was
working in Arby's at 16 years old.
That's in our lifespan. They realize that much that they've been screwing us over.
And that's the but here's the and this is how I knew.
$11. Like no, $9.
I asked some of our peers that had jobs at 16 and they were making the same hourly.
That's double.
$5.91.
That's double.
Maybe that is what I started at. Because I had a job when I was 16 too.
You did. That's why I'm like.
Mine was under the table, so I was making less
than
that,
but
6? It wasn't.
You also got paid the tips.
Do you remember how much? Do you remember how much you were making at the grocery store?
I want to say it might have been that 5 something, because then I remember seeing this. I remember the sign switched. I remember seeing the sign on the door that said 6.25 or something.
Yep, I think it went from 5.91 to 6.25 to 7.40.
Okay. And that's wild. Like,
yes.
That's
it's
wild.
crazy to think that I've watched it change every year, though.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, it's also crazy to think
right
like
what's
the hour
right now where we are.
I think you said 15, right?
Well,
right now before the switch.
Oh, it was like 9 or 8. It was something around that when I left.
I think it was 9.80.
Jeez, oh Pete.
Right. So it just jumped up another $5.
But think about that. Raising the minimum wage, like people are really happy.
I wonder I didn't get a raise this year.
I am really happy about it.
Yeah, where's my
I don't want to see I don't want to see the cost of living and the cost of like production per se.
Oh, they go hand in hand.
Rise just as that, and that's the thing. Like, I don't want to spend $5 for a gallon of milk. I don't want to spend multiple dollars for fresh fruit.
But that's where that money comes from, because in theory, that money to pay those people shouldn't come out of from charging more. It should come out of the profits of the people at the higher end who are making more than they need to do so.
Yeah,
that's where it shouldn't come out.
Well, they don't want their bottom line to change.
Right. So they're going to, but that's, but the thing is too, is that's more money in the economy, because if you pay everybody more money, that's more money floating around. That's more money you can collect too. So that's more money that you doing different services and doing different goods.
Well, you have to work harder to collect that, right? Because it's worth less at that point.
It is.
Because everything else costs more.
This is true. You have to collect more of it. Yeah, that's true.
It's like you're like a dog chasing your tail.
Right.
Trying to get rich.
But that's where I feel like they've been stifling it for so long that we're way behind on the catch up. You know what I mean?
We are, but what does catching up do at this point then, right? Like what is pumping that much more money into the economy do?
What's staying stagnant do?
It just depreciates the dollar.
What's not doing something do?
That's what I'm saying.
And the fact is, every single day,
I don't think there is a right idea.
Currency leaves rotation and new currency enters. So
that's how it works.
Essentially, we already are printing more money per se, but we're only allowing in what's going out. So we're not like creating. We create in multiple other ways, but it's not like we're not just because then that's what would happen if the national debt and then we were to just say, well, we're just going to print $5 trillion to square up the national debt. If it's even at 5 trillion, it's probably higher now. But forgot where I was going with this.
If we did that,
we only have so much money in the rotation at once, and that's why the importance of finding the other outlets for making and holding currency has become so important, because they've realized that the population is going to continue to grow and currency is limited.
Yeah.
Even currency as a concept itself came from convenience. Like it came from currency hasn't always been a thing. It's something that we created to help better exchange like goods and services.
To make
Way back
more fair,
back in the day, they traded goods. Exactly.
So maybe we should relook at the, like maybe that's another third option that we should look at. It's just the bartering system as a whole, like the cash as a whole. Like
to its degree, it is still there.
In a sense, but even that, like it's hard for the government. The government like stops it because they don't make money off of it. They don't, when you do a job for somebody else, they don't always see that and they don't make money off of it. A lot of those trades and stuff, they don't make money off and they can't capitalize on it. So that's why they don't like a lot of those different barter system aspects, because it's hard to tax.
That's where it makes you wonder,
system.
What was the point of currency in the first place then, right? Was it for the people who didn't produce so that they could get their fair share?
Right. And I mean, you do have a little bit of that because you have people in our society who, being developed as we are, we decide to take care of because they don't have the means to take care of themselves. And that's something you have to take account for. And that's a little bit where that cash goes. It's because, okay, we can give them something to take care of themselves, even though they don't have the means to work for it themselves. But we're also getting into an age too, where we might be able to find different opportunities to give them work and give them like place and purpose to do more things like that as well. Like there's different organizations, there's different jobs that come up,
Nobody should ever have nothing to do, right?
Right.
There's always something that you could be doing.
It makes you feel better as a person.
Yeah. Nowadays, there are so many opportunities and so many avenues that it is overwhelming at a point, but no one truly doesn't have anything to do.
Right.
Like
No.
there's always,
and if you are at that point where you're just sitting at home and not doing anything and that's bothering you,
figure out what you should be doing.
But somebody
write a list down, get involved in your community.
Help you. Like those people who, I'm talking about the people who maybe have something like a disability or things like that stops them, and they don't even know an avenue that they can take.
Now that's different. If
there's
a disability, but
in our society, we can find paths for them. We can find a place for them. We can find different jobs that work with what they need.
There's somewhere for everybody, right?
Better problem solving, better understanding of your situation.
And new avenues are being thought of, and especially with how much of a virtual world things have become, that people that before, like, the disability was they couldn't go to work. Well, now they can just work from home.
Right. You can't only work for a certain amount of time because like something starts to give out on you. Well, cool. Work from home, take those 2 hours off, rest, relax, come back at it. Mm-hmm. This is the project I need you to get done. You have all week to get it done. You know what I mean? So it's like, it's being more understanding of people as humans, and then you can make places for them in society instead of this workhorse in society where we make everybody go on full steam until they're burned out.
Numbers.
Deteriorated and old, and then we have to take care of them when they're old.
A lot of the workforce moving to a hybrid work from home and work in office schedule is going to be a good thing for the economy.
Do you think a lot of people will actually do that though?
I hope they do, because you give the employee the freedom to work from home, and then you still give them the respect that they give to the position and the company to come into office. So you have a balance. You're not just at home all the time where you're quote unquote a scrub, and you're not in the office all the time where they're breathing down your neck, per se.
Right.
So I am really excited for that, and I embrace like what that will bring, especially with the different industries and stuff that I've worked in, and like the different jobs that I've done, that if I could have had like a hybrid work from home, like how more successful, like my migraine issues, which I'm learning new medications and more on that later. But like all the different health issues, allergy issues, like anything that like takes you out of the office, like you can just do the job from home, go home, medicine up,
take care of business,
and get back in the queue.
Some people will find, like, I don't think that, like, what COVID's taught me, it's not people is going to bite on that, because some people use work as an escape. They're going to try to still go to work as much as possible to get out of the house.
To each their own. I I have a friend that said the
my
same
days.
thing.
And that's where the hybrid would be cool.
Right.
Exactly.
You know, the back
Where
end for it.
It's not you're always at work and you're not always at home. So
But
you
you have
have the
set
freedom
hours.
to decide like what you do at home and what you need to, what you need to do at work.
Right. And even if it is where I've got to be at the shop so many hours during the week, fine. As long as, you know, I still get to pick those hours and go in.
Yeah.
It'd be awesome.
Right. You're actually
Because
doing
I
stuff when
take
you're
care
there
of
that you
business
care
here. I
about.
cannot tell you how many times a day at the shop I will get extra stuff thrown at me, or I'll be in the flow of something and somebody will come in to interrupt me just to talk, which is fine. Which is fine, but it's always on the days where I've got this thing that needs to get done today. I've been waiting on everybody else, and all of a sudden I've got everything I can do to get it done.
happens to be a time that's inconvenient to you, but then it's convenient to them because they're just looking to procrastinate on what they need to do.
Yes, get away from what they need. Their break.
That's where they find that when they switch people to 4-day work weeks, they actually were more productive because you, for one, had decompression and rework time, and then you only had 4 days there to get all your shit done. So there was no diddle dallying around. There was no like kicking the bucket. You literally had to get your shit done, and it's
and
like
you. But to its point, you were there 2 extra hours of the day than you were on an 8-hour day. So
well, some of you are going to 4-hour day 32, like just 4 8-hour days, 4 or not even the 4 10s. Like,
see now,
I'd totally
if you're not working the full 40, like it just depends on what the hourly that you're making. But
that's where they're saying more of
if you're not working the full 40, you're cheating yourself out of that
your salary at that point.
Okay, well then
it's a trade-off.
To each their own. If you're salaried, then your wage is guaranteed per se, as long as you're hitting the goals that you need to hit.
Yeah, but even if you were hourly, it's not you're just throwing away money. You're buying back 8 hours of lifetime.
That's true. That's
your own
jobs.
That's
your
a whole
own
another
business.
day.
You are
your side gig.
But like if you're hourly and you're only working 32 where you could be working 40, then you're shorting yourself of that 8.
You are, but you're increasing yourself of your 8 hours of freedom.
It depends on what you're using that time for. If you
who you are,
if you're only working 32 hours because you work another job that pays more than what you would be making at your other job, then you got to do what you got to do.
Or even less, and you just don't want the same job every single day. Like I'm someone who gets bored. I don't want to do the same thing all the time. Like I have 4 jobs. I've looked at I'm doing 4 jobs at once right now, and it's like it keeps my attention. But no, none of them I do full time. Like I do the most I do is 32 to 36 at the dispensary, but I don't want any more. They've offered me more hours, and I said no. I want 4 days a week, and I want like 36 max 32. You know, I have time to do stuff for myself, and it's like even at that, I'm still not doing stuff that I want to do, like drawing and painting and like more personal stuff that's for me. You know, that's just as important to me.
Right. And it's all about dividing your time. It's your time. It's what's important to you. How do you want to spend your time?
Right.
You know, and everybody's got the thing where you are.
You have your priorities. You have your responsibilities.
Yep. Make sure the responsibilities are taken care of, so that way you can take care of your priorities and then find out where you want to diversify the rest.
Otherwise, your responsibilities become a strong inconvenience and a heavy burden.
Yes. Real quick.
Yeah.
Merciless.
They just build up and pile up.
Mm-hmm.
They do. Thank you, Wisconsin.
You guys think convenience comes out of necessity? Or do you think inventions come out of necessity?
Inventions definitely come out of necessity.
Necessity for that it needs to be, or necessity for convenience? Because
I feel like necessity and convenience are slightly different. You know, because like convenience can be, right? You don't need it. Necessity is you need it to
slightly
to like
the same at the same time.
Do we always need it to survive?
Because
not always, I guess.
You do have some people that just want to have
necessity to function.
Like I'll use my
so it can function faster or more efficiently.
I'll use myself as an example and my living room and my smart light system. Like literally having smart switches that are connected to my Alexa so that I can come into the living room like as I'm coming into the house. And it's because I don't have a light switch that controls any of the lights in my living room. So Alexa, turn on the lights. And she turns on my table lamp, my window lamp, and my corner lamp all simultaneously by my voice.
A lot of these older houses, you know, they didn't have light switches. It was all powered by outlets still. And stuff.
I remember watching like the Looney Tunes episodes and stuff about, I think it was Looney Tunes or whatever, where they did like the house of the future. Like I remember them talking about that stuff back in the day and where it's going to go, like the automatic kitchen cooker, the automatic this. And it's like, like that was a dream and people loved those episodes because it was convenience. It was literally all that episode was. Though? Yeah. It was not a necessity per se. It was like, what I noticed from that episode, it was all the shit. It was the daily like task that people don't enjoy doing, but you have to do every day.
Yes.
And it just made them easier.
It was. Yeah.
It was easier and more convenient.
It was still getting done. The task was still getting done. It's just, you didn't have to do it. It was done for you.
So that's, I feel like a lot of the mindset of technology and stuff and the way it's going now, but that's all coming out of convenience. I feel like convenience spurs a lot of creativeness these days.
Yeah,
it certainly has. And especially you see some people, some of the ways that people have like outfitted their house that like you like a fully what's the phrase? A fully
furnished?
No, not fully furnished. Fully like when you're growing your food as well as like the
sustainable.
Yeah, a fully sustainable home. That you have literally everything, that you grow your own food, you grow your own fruits, vegetables, you have these flowers that provide for this, you have a rainwater system that gives you your water, you compost, so you reuse it's a full working system. And if more homes were to do more of a fully sustainable setup as a goal, it would actually be better for the economy, because then you wouldn't like, well, I guess I shouldn't say it would be better for the economy. It probably wouldn't be as good, because then you don't have people that are going out and shopping all the time if they're growing it themselves.
They're still shopping from each other, even if you're growing a diverse garden. Like you're trading fruits and vegetables. And that's like, that person can grow that better over there.
Like that's kind of like what farmers markets and stuff of that nature already is right now.
But that's
just on a larger
little
scale.
More limit to entry. Yeah, like there's a little more limit to entry instead of an automated system that's built in. Hey, here's your plot for growing crops. Here's your plot for herbs and different things like that. Like
like each house, which house is the crop house.
Right. Yeah, they got the best squash in the neighborhood. Like,
you got to go to Earl's. Earl, he puts some magical filament on his squash. It literally will make you think about murdering your ex-wife.
I do. I'll show her.
That makes me think of like the whole conversation. We think of Smart House, though, the old like Disney movie.
Yeah,
it brings into question with that, because it's the same thing with Alexa, and people's biggest issue with that is it's like, at what point is a computer having full control over your house the best thing? You know what I mean? Like any little glitch, any little bug, like, because we're the test subject for all these companies and all this other stuff. Like,
per se,
they're gonna test us out.
We're the trial market.
Yeah. So it's like, I don't know. I see it going a similar way.
What do you guys think about the rise of the of the digital doorbell?
Digital doorbell.
I just got positive.
Digital lock.
The Ring.
Yeah, like Ring or like those other companies that like you have the doorbell on the outside of the house, and then the people hit the button. You have the doorbell that rings inside. It also rings to your phone, so you can literally pull, and so like
you
and
can
it
talk
notifies
to these people on a lot of these.
You can
cases,
like talk through intercom. You can also see live camera of like what's outside of your house. So like my coworker that like a lot of my and then my friend that lives on his own, like they see that additional doorbell as an additional form of security, because that's something that they can access at any time. That if they get a notification that there's a person at the front of your door that you didn't expect, you can go to real time and you can see who is at your door.
Yep.
And 6 out of 10 times it's a spider, but you got to do what you got to do.
That's good, but that's also hackable, because you can use that false sense of security to dress up like someone they trust too. You know what I mean? So it's like, you see that they have one of those, you go ring it dressed up like a cop or dressed up like a UPS driver, and it's like, I don't know. I guess you
not
can
only
any other
that,
situation too,
but I've heard a lot of people will say, well, if they're talking to me through this intercom, they must not be home, so I'm going to go in anyway.
Oh, I didn't even think about it that way.
But then a lot of the times these people have like alarms set up that they're hot wired directly to like the first responder.
Yeah. If they're doing
That's
it
true.
right?
If
I
they're
feel like
doing
a lot
it
of
right.
people just buy the doorbell, and that's supposed to be their security.
Okay,
Some people
well,
just put the sign in the yard and don't even get the security system.
Right.
That's good enough.
Everybody's got their own little system that they want to run.
and then rule of
Hey.
thumb, like you buy a security system, you want to go online and you want to get stickers of a different security system and put those on your window.
Ooh,
So
that's
that way
something
when
I don't
people
know how to
see
hack.
the stickers on your window and they're like, oh, this person has a Simply Safe system. But then you actually have like the Comcast, Verizon, or whatever system.
Right.
That's a good move.
Gotcha.
All right.
Yeah.
Bait and switch.
Like at first, like for our security system, like we had like he had like the security system window stickers on it, but then a friend of ours recommended that, and then like another friend of ours recommended, and after that 2 in a row, Blake was like, yeah, I gotta do this.
See, that's like even a upgrade from we had, because like in our day, like that was a dog. You know what I mean? Like that whole security
sign.
system.
A lot of the
Or a
time-
To
sign,
your point,
yeah.
or a sign that there's a
A
dog.
lot of people still
Or the
do
owner
have
has a gun.
animals,
Yeah.
so I mean, yes, you are gonna have
Will that
to
phase out
each their
animals?
own. To
Well,
each
that
their
will
own. I
be-
mean, it depends
will
on
that
like
phase
if
out
you're
guard
in like a
dogs?
highly urban area.
You're no longer
Like,
using
yeah,
it
your
for it.
dog is going to make an alarm, but just because your dog's barking isn't going to stop that thief from breaking into your backyard.
Depending on the dog. Certain dogs, you know what I mean? If that dog is aggressive enough, unless he could shoot it, I guess.
Depends, yeah.
Yeah.
Depends on how quick the dog gets to jump on them.
Right.
That's also true. I'll deliver pizzas to these places, and like knowing the person, because we do have a lot of regulars, but like knowing the type of dog that they have, and I'm just like, yeah, like that's definitely that person's dog.
Yeah, like you can tell.
Or they match.
Yes.
They're called. There's
Some
a
of
name
them
for that.
do.
It's called like a
Some of
schnauzer
them
or
do.
something. Like there's like where it's like a perfect one. There's like a name for that.
When the person matches the dog.
Mm-hmm. Like look and
There
attitude.
is,
and
there
everything,
is a
and
name. There is a name, and I am about to find it.
That's what I want. That's the dog I want to find too. I want to find a reflection of myself. Just a big, gumpy, troublesome dog that needs a little direction. It's like, I got you, bud.
It's a good one. That'd be a funny looking picture.
You picturing my twin dog?
Yeah. Him.
That'd be a big boy too. I was thinking about it the other day about like, but I know some like smaller people, but it's like to have a bigger dog, like you got to be good at training, and like that shows something about like your character is like like your ability to train and be dominating to like something like that, and not even just like a mean way, but it's like that's a big creature that's listening to your commands. You know what I mean? And it's like could overpower you, could eat you.
Do you feel like that's
it
the
depends
case
on it depends on the
with the
person.
dog, or do you feel
It
like
depends on the animal. Like
Yeah.
I have so many of my friends that have different pets, and some of them have them trained really well, and some of them not so much.
Yeah, I guess I that's true. I know people who have smaller dogs who the dog thinks that they're the dominant one in the relationship.
Oh yeah,
because
I
they
heard that
haven't
smaller
taught it.
dogs are supposedly a lot smarter than bigger dogs,
Really?
but I don't know. Chatter is the first dog I've ever had that I can walk around the fence, outside of the fence with him. And
Really?
he'll stick
Okay.
right by me, or he'll stick
Nice.
around. He knows where he's allowed to go.
And that's where they fall into the pack too. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
it's like you need that pecking order, that like understanding between you two. Is like, hey, I'm watching out for your well-being. I'm here to take care of you. So you need to listen to me. You need to stick around and do like, and that's where they'll watch you. They're watching you constantly to see what you do, to see how to react to a situation. You know what I mean?
That's
like,
true. They are watching you.
You're their one.
I wish the little people would understand that more.
We just gotta train them.
Yeah.
I wish they would listen as good as the dog does.
Problem is,
but they do the watching thing.
Yeah, they do. And the problem is, the little people also have the ability of having that convenience at their fingertips, that it gives a sense of entitlement.
Depending on the parents, I would say. My kids have limited access to these things. Regulated time schedules.
Also, because they have limited access, they hold them as a priority.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Too. There is a balance with that with parentship. Because if you take it or hide anything away, it makes them seek it more.
That's true. It's 100% right.
So you have to think about ways to incorporate what they want with the devices, but then like the stuff that still gives them the motor skills, like you taking them fishing and stuff and doing stuff like that.
Yeah, 100%. And that's where the non-technology time is usually taken up doing activities. It's not just, no, you can't have that because.
Right. That's where it's dangerous with technology a little bit too, is because like I was watching an episode of Taskmaster, and there was like, it was, hey, like keep this toddler entertained. Whoever can keep the toddler entertained for the longest amount of time wins. And so they had to come and make toys, do all this other stuff like that. And they were doing all right. And then one of the girls who was a mom, they're like, oh, you're going to do great at this. She gave the kid a tablet and had a video of her like doing something on the tablet. And the kid was just full attention.
Yeah.
Locked in.
I've seen people do this. It's crazy.
And it's easy. It's easy just to give them a tablet, and it's convenient, and they'll shut up and they'll pay attention. And it's like, it's not always the best solution.
Right. Isn't that technically brainwashing? Isn't that what you see in movies when people brainwash people? They've got them strapped to this dark room with a bunch of TV screens and a bunch of stuff just flashes on them.
Well, it's programmed for when they're older too. Whenever stuff's going on and you can't handle the situation at hand, just go watch TV.
Yep.
You know what I mean? When you can't go watch TV, go skate. And it's like you're training them that.
Even now, I still use watching TV as my escape.
Same.
And that's
I never thought of it like that.
That's a habit that's tough to break.
It is. And that was the thing. Me and my brother fought all the time, but we didn't fight when we were playing video games together, and we didn't fight when we were watching TV because we were too busy and distracted. So it's just like it was more convenient. You know?
Most of the times that me and my little brother were fighting over video games was when we wanted to play a one-player game and not both of us could play, and one of us wanted to take our turn.
House. They wouldn't even buy those in my house. No one-player games. My parents learned that lesson quick.
Literally, the first two games that we got for our Nintendo 64 were Super Mario 64 and The Legend of Zelda. Two one-player games.
Two great one-player games.
Right. Two great one-player games if you're an only child.
Yeah.
Not if you have a sibling.
See, mine was like Sonic and two.
But see, back in those days, though, you could unplug the siblings.
If we started out having a multiplayer game, like eventually we got some multiplayer games. But it took us a while to get some multiplayer games, and we probably would have respected it a little bit more if we started by having those multiplayer games, because then it could be like, this is my turn, I'm going to play this game during this time, and then this is your turn, you're going to play this game during this time, and then we're going to have times that we want to play a game together.
Right, that's how you learn how to share. You know, a little bit though too.
Yeah.
You learned how to share.
You were supposed to learn how to share. At the end of the day, it became the older brother learning how to, or trying to figure out how to be the alpha over the younger brother, and then the younger brother rebelling back against the older brother and not allowing them to dominate them as the alpha.
A tale as old as time.
Yep.
A tale as old as time, man.
And honestly, like, brothers have always just had that complex on each other. Like, brothers are always naturally competitive, and brothers are always just like always feel like they have like a little bit more like they
You
always
got
have
something
like
to prove.
It's
right?
sibling rivalry. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like they even have that in animals where it's to the death. It's like, I'm going to lose
Sometimes it seems like
nutrients
it's
if I don't kill you. So you're going to get my food. So we're going to figure this out. And there's pandas have that where pandas have twins. It's very common in panda genetics to have twins, but they almost never, like literally one of them dies. Like every time one of them dies, because it's just survival of the fittest for it.
And then the one that lived was the
Stronger of the
two. That is just wild. Because then you think about
Nature.
people, you think about like a couple having children and then pitting the children against each other and then sending the loser, either they die or they send them for adoption.
Billy, you colored outside the lines one too many times. Adam wins it.
So
You're
messed up. That'd be so messed up.
Yep.
But that would be
It's up to you.
I'll do better. I'll do better.
That would be the epitome of the parents just controlling their children by their convenience.
Yeah,
because they want their children to be what they envision, not what the child envisions.
The child doesn't know any better.
That's even what life's doing. Life and nature is picking what's convenient for it. You know what I mean? That's where we pick and choose who dies now, because we say, oh, it's not just what's convenient for nature, what's the most strongest surviving. It's like, no, we see more potential than your ability to find food and your ability to reproduce.
We one up nature.
Yeah.
I'll show you what's convenient. It has gotten a lot further than hunter-gatherer.
Yeah.
But even that on its own, like a lot of positions have just grown out of convenience. I mean, think about the rise of like the food delivery, like with this whole pandemic, and like DoorDash, Uber Eats were things prior to the pandemic. They were there, but then the pandemic hit and they exploded.
And that's where everything's going to have some form of delivery done. But even that, like you said, we were hunter-gatherers at one point. The fact that you don't even know where your food came from anymore. You don't even know, like, some people don't even know what the full animals or like what, like, they don't know any of the plants are cleaning it or anything else like that. It's like most people don't have a connection with where their food came from, and that's a huge convenience. You don't even have to see it die. You don't even have to hear about any of the aspects or even think about it for the most of the time that you're eating something that is dead. You know what I mean? Because
like even just thinking about like people, how easy it was for me to get this grilled chicken, like back in the day, I would have had to kill that chicken myself. I would have had to cut off its head. I would have had to pluck the feathers. I would have had to boil or fry or whatever they did back in the day. And then I'd have to like cut the pieces off, like debone it, and then like grill it up as like a patty or whatever.
The whole process yourself.
If there's too many people standing in front of the case at the grocery store, I'm going to go find something else to eat. You know what I mean? And it's like, that's too much work at that point.
Excuse me, pardon me. Last one.
I don't know what they're all waiting here for. That's where I feel like you have to be careful with that. Is because like, with too much convenience, you can lose that humbleness. You can lose like that appreciation for the things that you have real fast.
And you don't pay attention to all the things that these companies were supposed to trust start seeking in there. You know, it's like what you were talking about with the Alexa earlier and stuff like that. Is where the test subjects.
Yep. Your phone too. You need to have it. You have to have the cellular data. You have to have all that other stuff, but it's listening to you. It's tracking your information. It's doing ad targeting based, like straight for what you're talking about to better sell to you and to better manipulate your mind. And you're paying.
And it does a pretty damn good job.
You're paying them to do it.
Literally. That's just your cell phone. Imagine what's in that chicken you buy at the store.
Exactly.
Do you know half the things that go
these
into the
days?
chicken?
Everything is just loaded with preservatives.
That's where like
what are preservatives?
Someone said this the other day about
different elements and different ingredients.
All right, and what do those do to us?
Right, or with all the big terms that we don't know, and that's where someone said
cancer.
Like, they were talking about, I don't want to get the vaccine because the governments could be putting stuff in it to do all this stuff, and I'm like, they have so many opportunities than trying to give you a vaccine to put shit into you that you don't pay attention to.
Yeah, literally.
Like it's like that doesn't. like there's so much other shit that you take constantly that they could be drugging you, where you're just like in your
All they have
water,
to-
in your everything.
Yeah,
like,
all they have to do is
Colin.
make an agreement with McDonald's, and that's the reason why
Done.
McDonald's Coke tastes so much better than all the other Coke.
Yep.
In reality, it's because McDonald's has been around for so long, and their grandfather that they have the original Coke recipe
With cocaine in it.
I don't know if it actually has cocaine in it, but I would believe it's got a substitute, something.
Right.
But
That's
the
why
Coke
it's
that
so
you get
good.
at McDonald's is different than the Coke that you can get at grocery stores.
It is. It tastes 100% different
Well, that's
than
the
Coke you get
fountain.
anywhere else.
And
That's
better.
the fountain pops.
I
though, too, is
love
because
McDonald's Coke over any other Coke.
Some people are torn on that. Some people like bottled. Some people like. I'm a fountain drink person myself too. I just think it tastes better like that. Like
It's so
We've
good off
recently
tap.
we've recently been getting 24 packs of the glass bottled of I need to stop playing with this before it explodes again.
that's what she said.
24 packs of the glass bottles of the Coca-Cola. And but they're actually bottled in Mexico. So they're Mexico.
Okay.
So they have actual
nice.
like sugar cane sugar.
Nice.
It's different than like the Americanized that it's like iodized sugar and stuff like that. Or not
Right, the
iodized, not iodized, but like the synthetic sugar. Yeah.
Fake sugars. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
But so it does taste a lot better. I do enjoy that. And even that, like that's going to a superstore made on convenience.
yeah. Even the
Right.
bottling system. Like if there wasn't bottles, you would have to. You could only way you could get a soda is by going to a place that brews soda. It'd be like a
Mhm.
brewery. You know what I mean? Like that's the only way we'd ever be able to taste soda if we didn't have bottles and if we didn't have preservatives. If
And
we
that's the
didn't
way
have,
that they
like-
did it in the 50s. They went to the
Yeah.
diners that
The soda
sold
shop.
this soda pop
Yeah.
because it was so damn expensive to buy on their own.
Uh-huh. And now you have a soda stream that you can get in your house and you can make whatever kind of concoction into a soda
Literally.
you want, whatever day of the week. Yeah.
Literally.
Convenience.
Yeah.
Everything is so convenient at our fingertips.
And I think it's definitely had its positives. It's got negatives that are implied as well in terms of people just like you said, losing that humbleness where it's like if I can't have it now, then I don't care.
That is the now mentality is huge.
And what are you doing with that saved time too? It's like it's great you're using all this stuff for convenience to save time, but if you're just wasting that time, then why even save it in the first place?
Right.
Right.
Like do something of value with the convenience. Like that's what it was made for. It was
It's
made
great to
out
save
to
the
make
time.
it
What are you going to
easier.
do with it? You can't save time, right?
Yeah.
If you don't get to put it in a little piggy bank and pull it out later when you want to use it.
Make life more convenient for other people. Do the same
Yeah.
thing that someone did for you by making your life more convenient.
And that's
now do
actually
that for
like
others.
looking at like the better interests of others aside from yourself and like doing things that impacts the grander scale and making it more convenient for the masses as opposed to just yourself. Like making your own rainwater system in your home, but then making a YouTube video of how you did it so the masses can do the same thing.
Each one teach one. You know
Yep.
what I mean? It's just the simple concept. And it's just like, that's how I learned
Pass
most
on
of
the
my shit.
knowledge.
I'm like, this would be cool. I wonder how to do this. I bet someone's done this before.
Mm-hmm.
Boom. And that's my first step to anything that I start to do new, you know? It's convenient. That's where YouTube's convenient. Like the tools are there. It's just utilizing them for the right means.
Yeah.
Nowadays,
And
or
knowing how to utilize it or how you want to utilize it.
think about something that we used to cringe over, which we kind of still do, but like fixing your car.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're making that.
You used to have to consult the Haynes manual, which was a book of how you fix your car. When
Just in
nowadays
general?
you just pull that shit up on your phone.
But
Yep.
even that,
How
though,
to
they're
how
on
to
purpose
fix
making
exhaust.
it inconvenient. Like car companies are now making it inconvenient because of that, so that you're forcing you to go to mechanics to get their stuff fixed. You used to be able to change your oil like nothing, and now it's hitting up in the center of your like freaking engine where you have to dismantle half your engine just to get to your
Mhm.
oil. And it's like that's
Or
a
you
step
could,
back in
or you
progression.
could use a suck pump.
Or you could use a suck pump, but I don't own a suck pump, and I don't want to go buy a suck pump because I'd have to go to.
Oh, they're nice.
I'd have
Let
to go
me,
to an
t-
oil
let
store
me
to get
tell
it.
you,
But if you just put the oil cup thing in the right thing, all I need to do is undo it with my hands, let it drain out into a bucket, and then change on my oil. You're putting another step of me to have to buy something more, like a whole pump system.
That's understanding convenience and going against it on purpose.
Essentially, the suck pump just makes it so that you don't have to like jack up your car and put an oil pan underneath, because it just
but you still have
to
buy the suck pump. That's what I'm saying. You still
yes,
have to
but it is a tool that allows you to do things that if you don't have that ability, if you don't have the carpet, or if you don't have like a jack,
I guess you still need a jack.
Or the jack
I guess that does eliminate the
can,
jack and jacking up the car.
Yeah.
So I guess that you would need to own a good jack system, which most people do use inefficient single jacks to do oil changes, which is dangerous.
we have a handful of pairs of jacks, but like it was like I think
jack it up.
I think they're all Josh's.
Yeah.
I think now that I think about it, and he has like 2 really, really freaking strong ones, 2 strong enough ones, and then I think like 1 was broken. So I think he only has 2 now that I think about it. And I think he got the really freaking strong ones because he just wanted something that gives him that extra freedom than the strong ones. I think the strong ones go to like 3,000 and the really freaking strong ones go to like 7,500.
Well, I mean, you're putting your life at risk going under there. So the more security, the better.
Oh, God.
Yeah. And even if it can hold that much weight, if it gets tipped or knocked, depending on the system of the setup, like it's super dangerous. So it's like
it doesn't matter how much weight it can hold as it goes tipping over, right?
Exactly. It still falls at 9.8 meters per second, and 9.8 meters hits you a lot faster than you think.
Mm-hmm. Yep. That's where, that is a more convenient system to take the danger out of there. That's what I've seen this way. That's where it's too, is you got to be able to change with the convenience too, because like there is a lot of things that we fight as like it's trying to make our lives more convenient, and if we were to embrace it, it could make our lives easier and work along with us. But I'm gonna grunt and moan, and I'm gonna drag my teeth the whole way. Like,
and to each their own. You got to do what you got to do.
Right.
We all have our principles,
and at the same time, you've got some people that are in living some people that are in living situations where they don't have the abilities to have all the means because they've only got limited space that they rent per se. So like think about people living in an apartment building or like a condo building or just like a rental property that they don't have like a water spout outside. They don't have like storage facilities. They just have like their allotted space in the building to store their stuff.
Right. So but I feel like if you want to do something bad enough, you'll make it happen, right? I know a guy who owns a tiny little apartment, or he rents one, and he owns like 3 3D printers, and it's him and his wife who live in this place.
Nice.
Hey, I mean, a tiny apartment will fit three 3D printers.
That's tough.
Depending on what you're making, you might be able to pay the rent with those 3D printers.
Right.
Yeah, it's how bad you want it. Like you said, like there's another dude who set up a whole like shop with a CNC and like everything in his garage because he wanted to do it all at home, a laser cutter, like all of that. And it's because I'm gonna make it happen. He didn't want to go to the shop. He didn't want to go to you. He wanted to do it while he was at home. You know what I mean? It's like,
and because COVID, so he's safer. So
right. I think he's been doing this for a while, but like that at home workshop, you know what I mean? Like that's a convenience.
That's my American dream.
Yeah, same.
Well, your home has it.
Workshop. At home workshop. It almost does. It's getting there.
Yeah. That's even a convenience right there, is to be able to make something yourself instead of buying it,
It is.
Or fixing it
up.
But
is that a convenience or that's a skill, right? But
it's a skill that makes it more convenient.
It could be seen as both because
it's a convenient skill.
To each their own. Some things you might not necessarily be able to fix all yourself. So you got to go to a shop to get the parts that you need, but you know how to do it.
Yes, the know-how the general understanding. You can diagnose problems.
Mm-hmm.
And you're doing more work at the hand, and you're just, instead of paying somebody else, but even paying somebody else, you're doing work to pay somebody. You know what I mean? You're still putting your hours that you put in a day to pay that person to do that job.
Right. And especially if
it's
it's like a local place, you know, they're doing the same thing you're doing.
Right.
They're just
Sometimes
trying
they're
to
still looking
master
up on
it.
YouTube. You know? Like once you learn that, you're much more willing to do stuff yourself, because when you realize that most of the texts and stuff that you hire are just back there looking at a tutorial, you're like, give it a go.
Yeah, it makes you think.
They're comfortable enough. I saw that video. I should have done it.
Yep, I should have gave it a go. You hear the same guy.
I'm
the
even-
same words. Dude, watch this next part.
Like that, it's like that episode of Family Guy where I think Stewie and Brian were like doing some venture, and Stewie was like trying to learn how to do something, so he watches a YouTube video, and the guy's just like, hey guys, I'm Corey, so this is going to be the video on how to do this. Here's a link to another video that has absolutely nothing to do with this video, but I made it, so if you want to check it out. And then it goes to Stewie, and Stewie's like dressed at that, or it was like how to play the tuba or something like that, so he has a tuba, he's like, or no, how to play violin, or it was one of the two, but and he's like, Brian, it's gonna be a while.
It's that
Those are my
hole.
favorite things, though. Those deep holes give me such a sense of we can are in an age where we can literally do anything we want. The convenience to be an astrophysicist is as simple as going to YouTube and studying some stuff and
Or
actually
even
putting it
as
into
simple as
practice
going
and
to your
looking at
local library.
stars. Or go to your local library. That's
this
always been
podcast.
convenient, though, right? Doing this podcast.
That is like, we figured out we could do it because we've seen other people do it, and we have a lot of apps and different things that made it convenient enough to start ourselves. And
That
we've
goes
never
into
done
another thing I
anything
wrote
like this.
down. Convenient mistakes. You know,
Yes.
so many mistakes that have added up to turn into something like making a podcast.
Right.
Like, oh, dude, we accidentally did this, but it would be cool if we did this.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's what we talked about this last night, is like mistakes that we make in the podcast, lean into them, like make them part of the project, because it's already there. So it's like, make every mistake a convenient mistake, you know?
Yes. Every mistake is a learning opportunity, right?
Exactly.
I agree with that.
100%. None of us know what we're doing. We just click buttons.
Not 100%. No one can say definitively they know 100% what they're doing on everything they do.
Well, people can say
That's
it,
true.
and usually
They
when
can.
they do,
And that's the thing.
they
Yeah,
stifle
there's a
themselves
difference
and they're
between people
done.
saying and people believing.
Mhm.
Yeah.
You've stifled yourself when you think you're at your limits.
Absolutely.
But we're
That's the
creative
world
enough
that we
to
live
know
in, is
to
that
click
you want to
buttons.
be the god of your casa.
That's where I feel like I
That's what it
battle
is.
convenience
Your
a little bit,
temple.
is because like I want to see what I'm capable of doing the hard way, and then I'll try the convenient way, because especially if I've never even tried the hard way, you don't appreciate the convenience. You don't appreciate the convenience
Not
of
nearly
having
as
it
much.
easy. So it's like,
Yeah.
here, let me see how they used to do it, and then maybe you can understand even the more convenient way better. You know what I mean? And how it works and why it
Right.
does what it does.
How many times
I
have
mean-
you purchased the more convenient way and it's been harder because you didn't understand it?
Mm-hmm.
Think about power tools.
Yeah. Yeah, those.
Back
Those are
in like the
convenient.
1800s, that would have been like a multiple person job with like a handheld tool, which a
Yeah.
power tool is still a handheld tool, but like a drill that you would have had to like continually like go around, as opposed to.
But they didn't even have running electricity, depending how far you go back. They didn't have the running electricity to plug it
That's
in.
what I'm saying. Like they would have had to manually
Yeah.
crank this shit down to drill and to like.
Yeah, that's true. But if you go back far enough, like I forgot who talked about this, but if like you took a nuclear reactor back to the time of like Plato and all that stuff in Greece, they would kill themselves with it. It wouldn't be
Oh,
more
God, yeah.
convenient
Yeah.
for them. They wouldn't have free energy because they would just go die of radiation poisoning trying to figure
Literally,
out what it
because they
is.
have no way to access or even utilize the nuclear
It
power.
would become a deity.
Right. Yeah, right.
Yeah, they would literally just worship it.
The god
Right,
of
it
death
just
has
kills
come to
everybody.
visit us.
And they would never use it for its convenience of not free power, but more attainable power, you know?
Yeah. Somebody would eventually.
And they get
Oh,
over all the
Whatever
dead
you're
bodies.
witnessing from the sidelines.
That's true.
Oh, look
Well,
what
it's,
that
it's like
does to
the,
that
it's like
Someone
that.
finally puts a
It's
lead
like that
shield up and
movie.
like,
It's like that movie. I think
Yeah.
Year One with
Yeah,
Jack Black
Jack
and
Black.
Michael
Oh,
Cera,
yeah.
and like the guy's just like throwing people into the furnace as sacrifice. Like, hopefully this one works. Hopefully this. And I remember that he like leaned into the person and was like, "Are you a witch?" And she's like, "No." Yes, you heard it. She said it.
I think they covered this in that too, but even a simple convenience, wheels, like the wheels on the wagon and
Oh
stuff.
my gosh.
Like,
Yeah, I think
holy shit.
they do legitimately have like
square
wheels.
ones. Yeah. And he's like, hey,
like,
look what I came up with.
And I think the guy is like pulling his square wheels like,
But square
That's
wheels were
weird.
probably more convenient than no wheels, but circle wheels. You know what
yeah,
I
no
mean? Like,
kidding.
I literally watched a documentary on this exact thing yesterday.
really?
And think about
That's
way
a
back in
wheel.
the day when they just
Nice.
pulled that stuff with them,
I'm glad you
pushed
appreciate
Yeah.
it
it
that
or
much.
pulled it.
You know,
It's-
like you
it's
actually
awesome
looked it
to
up.
think, like-
It is.
It's where would we be without the wheel today?
Pulleys, gears, everything's a wheel in some
A lot of
way, shape, or
things.
form. Like, you know, like the disc, everything. Like,
Without the wheel,
like
you
we-
wouldn't have rotation.
To a certain extent, we are very lazy compared to our ancestors when it comes to groundbreaking discoveries.
well, there a lot of them have been made. Well, not a lot of them. A lot
Lot
have
of
been made.
Yeah, I feel
Based
like
off of theirs,
I
right?
mean I feel like
Yeah.
like the society and stuff is going to continue to grow, but at what point do you start to see a reduction in that exponential growth?
I think-
like there's already been a ton of exponential growth, but at what point are we going to start
And
hitting?
humans are satisfied, so never.
Right. That's where I think we'll hit that plateau at a certain point with the technology.
And that's why
Because we'll
I'm
just
giving
lose
it
our attention span.
It'll be social
We're
convenience.
creative. Yeah.
I'm giving
we're
it
creative
15 years,
ideas from
and we're
nature.
gonna have people
If we
with
just get ideas
condos
from
on
people,
Mars and
we're
people with
screwed.
condos on Venus, and it'll be jumping from planet to planet, and that'll be the next thing that gauges our interest.
Oh yeah, that's gauged my interest already. I'm upset
Right.
that that's probably not going to happen while we're alive.
They said space hotel by 2050, 20,
Mhm. Something
I
like
think
that.
2050. No, I think it's even sooner. It might be in the next like 20 years.
Cool.
But
So
as
when
long
I
as we
wanna
can
leave
hold
the
out
Earth's
that.
atmosphere, my bones
Yeah.
will break and turn to powder.
So instead of Florida, we'll go to space.
Yeah, that'll be
know?
like my vacation will be going to somewhere on
Okay.
Earth or going somewhere off of Earth, and I'm going to be paying triple the price of going on Earth to go off of Earth.
You could launch me into space. When I'm
But if
about to die,
if
too.
we're
Why don't we just
alive
build our own
while that
rocket?
time period goes through,
No.
like you're gonna have a
Can't be that
bunch
hard.
of different opinions, and especially us voyaging and going into space. Like I'm still waiting for us to have like that initial contact that is like groundbreaking, that like aliens and humans start interworking with each other, and like we start to get to that Futurama feel.
I've had a premonition about that lately, that we're going to have another interaction as humanity with aliens. And that's a weird place to bring this up, but I've been feeling like that lately. Like on 3 different occasions, on 3 different days, I've had this thought that human society is going to have another like interaction with extraterrestrial.
Did you know
I
that?
feel like we constantly do.
We do.
Did
They
you-
found the space and stuff, or the ships and stuff recently. What were we going to say, Ken?
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. They announced it that UFOs are real.
Yeah, because they found the one that they couldn't tell how the pattern works, and like they have that little pill-shaped one.
Yeah,
Is that what you're talking about? Yeah, I
I
think
don't
there's
know.
gonna.
I haven't seen that. I heard about it. but I
Dude,
haven't
that's
seen
an
it.
actual like U.S. pilot who is just like, yeah, no, we have no clue based off physics how that's happening, and like so that's happened. But I think another thing, like there's going to be some other kind of interaction.
Hey boys, I know you're going to B-dubs. Bring me back some wings.
Oh, dude, we're actually just gonna stop a couple minutes.
All right, we got that.
I think that one was good.
We're good.
Cool.
We're good.
All right.
All
You guys have a
right,
good night.
awesome.
I'll talk to you later.
Peace.
Easy.
to 7 places tonight just to pick up food. That's why I kept blowing you up about like changing the order and stuff. I felt bad, but like the first 2 places were closed. They decided to leave their lights on like they're operating like normal. Their cars are still there because all the employees are there, but apparently they're closed. Apparently I'm the idiot. Then I go to the next couple of places. I was in line for probably 10 minutes each where nothing was budging. Then I finally get to this one place where I'm able to place an order, but the idiots there literally let me go through the whole thing, even though they were like, they told me that they serve Pepsi, but it turns out they're not even a restaurant.
They're not even a restaurant?
Yeah, I don't get what their problem was. Like, I really don't understand. I'm like, I just literally wasted time in line. So then finally got to the last place and got the order in, you know, and that's what's on the table. So
All right. Well, I'm hungry and we're gonna eat some food.
Sounds good.
Awesome. Appreciate you picking it up.
Yep.